Hi, Bayside. I've got a couple of things that I want to just mention to you guys that are coming up here as part of our kind of fall, September, normal moving forward period of life. And the first one is simply this. I was reflecting on the fact that today is 9/11, and it's hard to believe it's been 19 years since that crazy day. It's amazing because I think that my daughter, Madison, was born just 2 months afterward, and think how old she is corresponds to her whole life has been going by, and since that happened. And yet it seems like it was so fresh. I know, like, for all of us that lived through it, you can remember it very clearly where you were and what you were doing. And it's just one of those moments in life. And as the church world goes, I mean, it was so interesting to see how our nation went to church for that following Sunday. In fact, the next 2-3 weeks, the nation was in church because we had questions, we had concerns, we had fears, and where do you go when you have those things? But very quickly, things kind of went back to the status quo. Very quickly, people stopped being a part of the churches. Very quickly, it was the normal crowd that was already there. And part of the question was always why? Why did that happen? Where did those people go? Why didn't they stay? What was lacking in their experience? And I think the answer for so many is that what is really lacking in those was any kind of connection, any kind of community. They came and they heard a sermon. They came and they participated in some music or some worship, but the community really was not there because you can't find community in 1 week, 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks. And the reality is that's what we need. In fact, that's the community that makes the biggest difference in our lives in general, but also and especially when it comes to following after Jesus. And let me illustrate with this. If I were to ask you, like, what were the last 5 sermons you heard? They didn't even have to be mine, but the last 5. What were they about? What were the main points? What did you learn from them? You'd probably have to check your notes, scratch your head a little bit, think really hard. Maybe you could come up with even the titles, but unlikely you could get a lot more than that. I preached 5 sermons. I can't exactly tell you what the last 5 were off the top of my head. But if I were to ask you to name 5 people who have made a difference in your life, spiritually or otherwise, you will not have any trouble remembering the most important 5 people, right? I mean, it's the way our lives work, our brains work, our experience works. People have a much bigger influence on us than just information or knowledge, no matter how good a sermon or a lesson or anything might be. God uses people. In fact, his church is people. He's put his Holy Spirit inside of people, his church, again, to make a difference in our lives. So all that to say, we are starting and launching our life groups, and that's what our life groups are all about. They are all about community. They're all about people with people. They're all about the ways in which we get to encourage each other, influence each other, teach each other, learn from each other, right? Share with each other. It's walking and doing life together. That is where we learn the most. It's where we grow the most. It's where we're challenged the most. It's where we're encouraged the most. So if you're already plugged in with a life group, please get connected. And you can find the information about our groups if you go on our phone app, if you go onto our webpage. Just check out the list of current life groups. Those are being updated as we speak. You can see what nights they're on, what they're studying. They're for men, there's for women, there's for couples, there's for anybody. There's going to be online only. There's going to be in-person only. There's going to be lots of different options, but I highly encourage you to check it out because if you want to make a next step or you want to get connected with a Christ-following community, this is the way to do it. So please take me up on that offer and check that out and connect with a life group because it is the most important thing you can do in your life, but also in your faith and your walking and following Jesus. That being said, we will, of course, have services this Sunday, 11 a.m. We'll be at Calvary Baptist Church on the back lawn, and it's going to be awesome. Again, the weather's going to be great this week. We're also going to have online service at 11 a.m. Always, it will be there for one way or the other. You can be a part of worship, part of learning, part of growing in that capacity as well. You guys, I hope you all have a safe weekend. I hope you find yourself a life group to come and be a part of, and I am looking forward to seeing you Sunday morning.